but he saw you. Beneath every disguise, every gesture felt so true.
What do you think the average IQ of this group is, huh?
You know what the fuck it is? You know what the fuck it is? Crazy bitches on TV. You know what the fuck it is? You know what the fuck it is? That the beat is on the move. Watch out, night down, feeling angry to myself. Smoke up, beat down, people telling on and on. Watch out, night down, feeling angry to myself. Smoke up, beat down, people telling on and on. Wake me up from your mood, wake me up and shine around. I can see myself on my own TV. Watch out, night down, feeling angry to things I like. It's the things you don't like. Come on, don't run me down in this shit. I know you heard it. Watch out, night down, feeling angry to myself. Smoke up, beat down, people saying on and on. Watch out, night down, feeling angry to myself. Smoke up, beat down, people saying on and on.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Here we
What's
are.
up, guys?
I don't know.
Long time since we played that intro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, never gets old.
Yeah,
No.
that's a good one. Yeah. Before we get started, I got to read a little. I got something to read here. The opinions expressed in this do not in any way represent Anthony's Horror or Pops Movie Dungeon.
I concur.
Exactly.
You notice Alan didn't wear his shirt for the stream. He's got some generic fucking shirt that doesn't say his name on it. Don't worry, I got you, dude.
It was wonderful. I'm surprised you got my logo in the corner too.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Alan doesn't have the V for Vendetta mask on.
Yeah.
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 Might be a good idea.
I'm surprised you guys showed up at this point. But we'll get into that.
Man, these WTFs are awesome, man.
There.
I ain't gonna miss these unless I have to.
Unless we had some others planned. We had some other guests planned. It just kept falling apart, kept not working out. We were going to do Bug. We're going to do it eventually. But, we're waiting on Ryan. Ryan's a big fan of that movie, and he's, knows a lot about it. And there's another movie we're going to do, issues with that and some scheduling. And then this came up. And we'll get into how this happened. But let's run through the chat and get going on. It might be my last video ever. Or it might be the 4K tent revival's last video ever. And then we'll see the 8K tent revival that'll be started right after that.
Me and Anthony will be in court for 3 years trying to keep our channel going.
Just see what's going on, man. Magic Hands.
Hey, Magic.
You're working some deal with Masters of the 80s to trade titles at school. He's waiting to hear back from you.
Oh, nice. Russell,
what's going on, man? I know he's seen this. I don't expect a lot of people to be here for this one just because it's brand new, rushing out and seeing a brand new movie, even though it's a streaming title. But I know these guys have seen it.
It's rare to do one of these on such a new movie.
Yeah.
hey, Corey.
But if it was in theaters only, I wouldn't do it, because I don't want you to go out and spend money to see the thing. But it is readily available to stream for free. And I believe it's actually even on YouTube, the whole movie. Tommy Starr, what's going on, man?
Oh.
Well, Tommy.
There's celebrity in here.
Yep. Been talking to Tommy. He's getting ready to come back, start doing some streams again.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I said hey to Corey. Scotty, what's going on, man?
Hey, Scotty.
What's going on, man?
Scotty doesn't know. Fiona.
Yeah. Oh, and why aren't you guys in ski masks? Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going there. Trust me when I tell you, we're going there. I'm pushing 300 subscribers right now. By tomorrow morning, I'm saying sub 100.
The
My
job
internet's
goes
been a little
down.
spotty, so if my camera goes out,
Down.
my internet just dropped. So,
It's like if my camera goes out. I got really shitty tech here. I don't have the best of anything, so
yeah. Oh, I got garbage here. Hardly ever works.
You could launch a space shuttle to the moon from that room. There's so much Wi-Fi in it. Everybody's saying hey to everybody. Wookie just watched it last night. Good, cool.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
Everybody's saying hey to everybody. Oh, and why would this be the last video? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So the genesis of this, I watched the movie. I recommended it to Alan. Alan actually watched the movie that I recommended. Imagine that.
Which I do weekly.
And
you're at about 75% good.
And so I reach out to Anthony, tell him about the movie. Anthony goes, "Isn't that some woke trash bag piece of shit movie?" Yep. And I went, "What?" And he goes, "I saw some reviews, and and I started watching some reviews, and the reviews were all about the same. They had all these buzzwords they were repeating, and I'm just getting more and more irritated. It was like Ken doing a review. Basically, that's what the genesis of this came from. They all seem to take it even below face value. Just it's this casual, shooter. Like I feel like they might even have fast forwarded, or they were on their phone the whole time. Calling the shooter MAGA based. Even there's no mention of politics whatsoever. But yet he's this right-wing guy. I just everything about it. They even go so far to speak on the narrative and the killer's identity and motivation, which obviously by the end of the movie you don't know either of those two things. But
right.
I heard something and went with it. Like, oh, that. Why would there be multiple explanations? Because you have to actually watch the movie, and it was clear that they may have seen it, but they didn't watch. They didn't pay attention. So all that irritated me. Of course, I reached out to these guys and asked, basically, what did you get out of it? Did you get?
Well,
asked Alan basically. Did you get?
It's interesting to me. I don't mean to cut you off. It's interesting to me. I went into this hearing none of that. Yeah. So I had none of that in my mind going into this movie. And when you first said that to me, I'm like, what? I didn't see that at all. So that never even entered my mind watching this entire movie.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting because I went into it blind, knew very little about the movie. Heard you say something about it in the stream. I turned it on, started watching it. I didn't walk away thinking that at all.
Yeah. So that was the same with me. That I watched it beforehand. I didn't watch the reviews. I didn't get it. I didn't have any of that either. But like I said, I think people caught little bits of it, or maybe it was a situation where it's like, well, this is a new hot movie on Shudder. I'm going to review it, and they kind of hit. You hit the button, and it rolls ahead 30 seconds, and you kind of catch a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that was or they're just idiots. So that was my take on it. But Anthony, did you get any of that from this when you watched it?
The wokeness and stuff like that? No, I thought it was pretty evenly distributed on the politics. Like both sides are bringing different things to the table. There's a lot of, and even the guy says it in the movie, the sniper, there's a lot of buzzwords, stuff like that. A lot of, they pretty much bring up like every single like hot button issue that you could bring up, but neither of the characters are particularly likable.
Yeah,
you don't really care for either one of them. I mean, the main woman Alice, is cheating on her husband.
Yeah, she's a big whore. I can't wait for her to get shot.
All right.
So,
I know. Well,
I'll stop the video.
Right now,
we'll go through this in time. You guys do this shit every time.
Yeah.
For melancholia.
Yeah, it's melancholy all
We
over.
didn't even get a paragraph in. Let me tell you something about this. Fuck this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think they did a good job with that. No, I didn't feel like it leaned one side or the other. It just kind of put both out there, you know, like kind of both sides out there. And yeah, like you said, we'll get into it. But
yeah, all the same 5 little monkeys jumping on the bed. The song has meaning. I'm sure.
Yeah. There was basically somebody representing both sides. They didn't beat us to death with either fucking side. The movie was about the fucking tension. The movie was about what was going on with the story. It had nothing to do. That was not the underlying. Like I said, never entered my mind. They didn't beat you to death with either side. So I don't know.
She's a big old whore.
Well, she's exactly what she is.
She's a big old whore.
Before we get into it any further, I would say that there's left and there's right, and you're seeing the reverse image, and then there's the center. And then there's alt left and alt right. They're not even in the picture. They're so far apart. And I think both sides are represented, both the alt left and the alt right. And that's these two characters. That's what I got from that part of it as far as the political stuff goes.
Yeah, and I watched this twice, to be fair. I watched it last night, and then I watched it again before this stream, actually. So I've seen it twice. Yeah, have you watched it a couple times too, Alan?
No, I was going to try to watch it again today. Never got around to it. Well, I started watching The Wind, and I was going to watch this after The Wind, and I got sidetracked on something else. Okay. So I did technically have time, but I didn't get to it. But so I want to say it the one time. I was hoping to watch it the second time before the stream, but I think watching it once is enough to follow through what's going on here.
Yeah.
Give my opinion.
Absolutely.
So,
I just wanted to watch it twice because there are some heavy dialogue moments in between all the tension, the shooting, and all that stuff, and I really wanted to hear everything that the sniper had to say as he was going through it, because he does say a lot, you know, in those moments. So
this is this was I watched it. I think I watched. I watched it twice. Yeah. But anyway, so it's 2023, written and directed by Frank Calfan. He did the Maniac remake.
Yep.
Which I liked. P2, I like, of course, great Christmas movie.
Yep.
Takes place off a remote highway in California, but I believe it's shot in New Mexico. But there's no date on it. It just looks like New Mexico to me. So I went through why we're doing this. So here we go. The movie opens at 2. A lot of people, I think, missed this intro too. The opening, even the opening shot, is important in this. That's why I told everybody, pay attention. Movie opens at 2 a.m. Somebody is watching. It's through a windshield. The view is through a windshield of a motel room. And in the rearview mirror, it's a shitty motel room on top of that, but in the rearview mirror, there are dog tags hanging. So it's somebody in a pickup truck looking at a hotel room. So that alone is telling that somebody's out there watching. I think a lot of people missed that too from the beginning. The lead, her name is Alice, gets a call from her husband to confirm her coming home to make an appointment with a fertility doctor. She steps into the bathroom to take this call. As she ends the FaceTime in a hurry saying, "I love you." And then her black boyfriend comes in the room, clearly not the white guy on the phone, and starts getting in the shower. So clearly they're having an affair from the beginning. You know that. So on their way back, from a conference, they're coming back from a pharmaceutical conference. In the middle of the night, they got to come back. They got to leave at 2 a.m. apparently to make the fertility appointment. The low fuel light comes on. I skipped a part. So on the way back, the husband calls the lead, Alice. She ignores the call. The boyfriend says, "You should answer it," and that he has to know something's going on. And she goes, "Believe me, he doesn't know. Trust me, he doesn't know."
Yeah, so the cockiness of this woman is unbelievable. Yeah. First of all, at least if you're gonna cheat and be a filthy bitch, at least shut and lock the bathroom door so when the guy you're banging on the side doesn't come, because he almost comes in because they're FaceTiming together, and he almost walks right into the shot, and she has to hang up the phone right before he's about to the guy she's cheating on him with gets into the shower. She has to like hurry up and hang up the phone. It's like she's so confident that she's not going to get caught. She's like, I'll just leave the bathroom door open. I won't even tell the guy that she's screwing around with, like, hey, be quiet. I got to talk to my husband, about this stuff. Or it's like, Jesus, lady, come on, step outside.
She's a remorseless, dirty whore. That's what she is.
Yeah.
Can I say it now?
Let's keep the bias out of it. Keep the bias out. Yeah, I was at we were watching it at my tattoo parlor. I was getting the MAGA logo on my shoulder. No, I agree with you 1,000%. She doesn't care if she doesn't even care if she gets caught. She's going to try and keep it going, but it's just like, makes no effort. The I don't know, you would call it the bite, the gratingness of this woman. It's penetrating. The arrogance of this woman is penetrating. And it's important to note that the boyfriend knows she's married. That's the whole point of this car ride. He tells her, he has to know, blah, blah, blah. He knows that she's married. See, he's a dirtbag too. Mm-hmm. It's one thing if she's a married man, she's a married woman and you don't know, maybe he doesn't know she's married. He's just whatever. He thinks that's his girlfriend. No, he knows that she's a cheating whore and he's participating in it anyway. So he's a bad guy too, is the point I'm making there. But, nobody on earth is as bad as this woman. And I don't know what they did to her eyebrows to make her look even more like her eyebrows like stick right up and they're really dark. And she just got kind of a bitch face. I don't know. Perfectly cast. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the He-Man Woman Haters Club, by the way. Revival. All right. Lose my notes here. So the low fuel, I'll get through this part and we'll check the chat. The low fuel light comes on in the car, even though the boyfriend swears he filled up the tank before they went to bed. She has the stupid fucking man look on her face. Of course, it's just every opportunity to show that she's a bitch. She takes full advantage of it. The boyfriend says, "You know what your problem is?"
Yeah. She
cuts him off and says, "My problem is men thinking that they know what my fucking problem is."
Yeah.
Okay. All right, lady. You got it. So we're at this point, we're sure she's a toxic, feminist, kind of broad.
Yeah. And it's at this point, I'm like, Brad, this goddamn movie better turn around.
And there's the one thing about this movie that's interesting is I'll save it for later. I'll save it for my afterthoughts.
Yeah.
Continue.
Continue. Let's run through the chat real quick and make sure we're caught up here.
I'm like, does she die right here? And that's how the movie turns
Does the bullet just go right through her head as they're driving?
Yeah.
Right.
At this point, you have nobody to root for at all in this movie.
No. Just terrible people.
Russ.
Hey, Russell.
Going on, the cuck husband, too. You think you'd have some kind of indication or like, what are you even doing with this woman, dude? Like whoever you are on that phone, you got to find a better chick. What's going on, Russ? Everybody saying hey to Russell. Hagen K, watch the Taking of Deborah Logan. That didn't have. Yeah, it definitely is. It's in the intro. Yeah, it's a good movie.
What's up, Hagen?
What's going on, dude? Joe Joker. Yeah, I mean, literally, like he almost walks on the camera.
Yeah.
What's the dong like on that guy? That's one fucking question. Might be the greatest question yet on any chat.
Yep. That's Scotty. Ken Carlson, what's going on, man?
Hey, Ken.
What's up, Ken?
Ken hoping for his copy of Duel. Yeah, Alan got his in.
Yeah, where the fuck's it up? There it is. Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Looking so
I've got that coming in, too. Hopefully that'll be in soon.
Hey, and I don't like whores either, Pops.
Yeah.
Whores don't get second chances.
That's right.
Yeah.
Whores. And I don't know if you were going to bring this up maybe later or not, Brad, but we think that, they run out of gas after he says, like, oh, I just filled up the gas tank, which you would think would alarm you a little bit. Like, if I filled up my gas tank, I would either think, okay, somebody siphoned my gas, or...
the fuck is that?
I don't know. It's so weird. Sometimes that comes up, that weird thumb. I don't know what I don't know what that is. Is that like a feature on YouTube or something?
That's the government. That's the government.
That's the government.
I've never seen that. All the streams we've done, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, or there's.
I told you. I told you. My searches have been wild. Let me tell you, my searches preparing for this stream have been. I'm on every fucking watch list right now. I'm telling you, after doing this one.
But yeah, you would think that would alarm you, but they put it in there, and obviously we're led to believe that the sniper went ahead and siphoned the gas off, so that way they would have to stop at that gas station, or he's kind of
within range and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's the only along that route. It's the next gas station where they're gonna, but.
And she wasn't alarmed because she just thought he was a dumbass.
Yeah,
She thinks every man is a dumbass.
Right.
Yeah.
People say things about men are sexist, misogynist. This is a pure, nasty, toxic feminist. Every man's a fucking dog to her, and but we'll get there. So here we go. They pull up to the gas station. She's going in while he pumps the gas. As she's getting out, he's asking her if she can get him water, gum, and he's starting to list a couple things. It's going to be a long road trip. She just slams the door in his face. She doesn't listen. She's just like, he's asking for, she's going to go in and get something for her. She doesn't care what he wants. And she goes in and gets her shit and not anything for him, which I thought was interesting. Once again, nasty bitch. Or as Alan would call her, a big old whore. She goes inside, gets herself coffee. You can see there's a leak in the gas tank under the car. There's a huge billboard shown for the first time, all one word, God is nowhere. Now, you could put it, God is nowhere, or God is now here, whatever way you look at it, but it's all phonetically, God is nowhere, now here, whatever way you want to put it, right in front of the gas station. The lead continues to get texts from her husband about how he wants her to please answer. Again, he's a cuck. And now how he's proud of her and how sorry he is. Major cuck. She says she wants to make it work, too. He says he wants to make it work as far as the fertility and all that stuff. She says she agrees. She sees a parenting magazine with a baby on it. Walks right by it. Not even a little bit interested in it. Almost like she doesn't want to have kids at all, and she's just kind of placating to keep the relationship going. Like, yeah, I'll see the fertility guy and whatever, that kind of thing. Like she's been lying about it. So the boyfriend outside is blasting rap music. She can't find anybody to pay for her coffee. Again, she didn't bother getting anything for him, anything that he asked her for. She sets down a 10 to pay for the coffee. They can leave. So they can leave. She looks up behind the counter. This is a thing I think a lot of people missed. Kind of like the leaking gas tank earlier. She looks up behind the counter and there's blood spatter behind the counter. And there's a sign, like a decorative sign that you'd have in your house, like live, love, laugh, all that stuff. The sign, covered in blood, reads, God grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I cannot accept, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's a little bit on the nose, but it was a nice touch. All right, let me make sure we're caught up with the chat here. Okay. The star is working. Are you saying hey? Kim, we're not going to get into what's coming up. We'll do that on a bullshit stream or whatnot because these things have been running long. We got to keep them moving here. Sean, what's going on, man?
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean. What's up, buddy?
Russ talking to Sean. I don't know if he saw it yet. I sent him the code. So he hadn't watched it yet. It's a lot of fun, Sean. Yeah, I recommend it. Joe Joker sounds like a real Captain Cuck. Yeah. Take it easy with your right-wing propaganda speech. Sean Blue Digital. I've seen some clips of it, Brad, talking the other night. Okay, about the hunt. Chris C. That and an AA book thing, by the way. Oh, that's from an AA book. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I did not know. I mean, yeah.
And Brad, I may be wrong. I have to go back and watch it again. You've already seen it twice, but I thought she grabbed a pack of gum when she was in there. I thought she picked up a pack of gum.
Maybe she grabbed gum, which happened to be one.
I was thinking the same thing. This bitch just slammed the door like "fuck you." And I thought the same thing. I thought I remember picking up gum. I may be wrong.
We asked for a water, gum, and something else, and she gets a coffee, and I think she does get gum. So maybe the gum's for him, but I doubt it.
Probably not.
Not this.
Probably not his flavor.
It's probably not the flavor he wants. The flavor she wants.
Bitch, you got juicy fruit.
She's a big old whore. God. All right. So the lead tries to leave and is shot. The bullet grazes her left arm. Suppressed gunfire hits around her. It's clear it's coming from the "God is now here" sign. The lead hears a walkie-talkie, somebody asking for Amelia. She throws bags of chips in the air to distract the shooter. He hits each one. She tells the person on the walkie-talkie her name is Alice Germaine Bach. Okay. Huge red flag. You fucking hyphened your last name, you bitch. You couldn't even have took your husband's last name. God damn. It's just swinging the hammer on this every chance you get. So she says her name is Alice Germaine Bach. Needs the police. I've actually quoted it here, and I didn't realize that before I said it. Alice Germaine Bach. She didn't take the guy's last name. Could he be any more of a cuck? I put that here. Who lets that fly, dude? I don't give a shit. Who lets that go? But anyway, outside the fuel light comes on the car again. The boyfriend, he's blaring rap music, so he can't hear. He's kind of tired and he doesn't really see what's going on. The boyfriend figures out the gas tank is leaking, and he heads inside, where he gets abruptly shot in the neck. He begs Alice to help him, crawling on the floor, dying like a dog. She doesn't even try to save him in any way. She just sits there and watches him bleed out on the floor, and then he gets one right through the eyeball.
She's like, "It's okay. I got 5 more side guys."
Yeah, I'll just get another guy. That's cool. So solid practical effects, I thought. They're not all 100% practical, but his brains are all over the floor. She doesn't even shed one tear. She doesn't start crying. She doesn't even look upset. His brain matter is all over her shoes. It's splattered all over. She does not care. She's a sociopath. She again tells the person on the walkie-talkie to call the police. Her friend got shot. They put a moonroof in this fucking guy's head. He said he's fucking dead. He got shot. This dude could not have been more disposable to her. The person on the radio says he's really worried about his wife, Amelia, who works there. The lead knows she's dead and doesn't mention it. She explains that what she's doing there, how she got there, and calls her boyfriend her colleague again, the guy that she just spent the night with. The guy on the radio reveals he's the shooter. He says, "Yeah, I know he's dead. I put a bullet right through his head." But again, I thought another point out that she's like, she knows Amelia's dead and then doesn't want to tell him because she wants him to stay. She wants to get what she wants. She doesn't care that he doesn't need to know that. That's not important, lady. Call the police and get them here to save me.
Right.
All right. Let's make sure we caught up with the chat here. Hopefully I used the star. I guess I did. Hall notes. I think they had to hyphen it for the movie. In real life, he would have taken her. So yeah. Maybe I should click on the comment. Holland says, I think they had to hyphen it for the movie. In real life, he would have taken hers. This guy's that. Yeah. Russell don't like spoilers, so turn off the volume. Let's still chat. That's cool, man. Check out the movie. I think it's on YouTube or it's on Shudder. Okay. All right. She asks what he wants. He asks her the same. She goes, "I just want you to leave me alone." He says, That's what we all want." She tries to throw batteries that hit the light switches about 5 feet away. She throws like a girl, literally. She can't hit to save her ass. She uses a shelf with wheels to hide behind and roll her way over the light switches and turn them off. The shooter shoots wildly. The shooter tells her he killed his wife, Amelia, because she cheated on him for no reason. He says she was bored and asks her if she's bored. And he says, we can take our time, figure this out. And she tries the phone, the fire alarm. None of it works. She digs car keys out of the dead boyfriend's hand, or she literally digs them out of his clutches, his dead clutches. Again, not his brains are everywhere. Couldn't care less. She turns on the car alarm for the car outside. The shooter aims for the battery and disables the car. Shooter says, we seem to be stuck, you and me. If you're not interested in saving yourself, then this is how it ends. She pleads innocence. She asks who he is. He asks, who the fuck do you think you are? You are, not me. And tells her to come out so he can shoot her. One shot and all our problems can be over. A man looking for his wife, Amelia, shows up. Comes right in the store. She tells him to get down, explains everything. He's freaking out about his dead wife, and she couldn't care less again. Then he explains to her that Amelia's parents were Mexican immigrants. Amelia is working there to help them out. The lead immediately she suspects him to be the shooter. She's not hearing a word he's saying. She's just like, it's a man. This has got to be the guy. You know, she thinks it's him. She immediately goes for a hammer, and she becomes hysterical. He starts crying. He says, this country is so racist. Guns everywhere. I can't take it anymore. Now, this movie takes place in California. This is a California guy. This is, that's what I took from it. I didn't feel like it was woke. Feel like that's what a guy like that would think in that area. So the lead demands that the guy go out, get his phone out of the car. If he's not, because they go back and forth. He's like, you're doing this, and he swears he's not doing it. Well, she says, if you're not doing it, go get your phone. Prove that it's not you. Call the police. And you can tell she's just condescending to this guy. She's just she doesn't give a fuck what happens to him. She just wants to get out of this. Who cares if he gets shot? Why don't you go out and get the phone, bitch? No, and that never occurs to her. Let him do it. Let him take the gunfire. Like I said, she condescends to him. There's no way she thinks he can make it after seeing what this shooter is capable of. She's throwing stuff in the air and he's hitting it. There's no way he can't see, and he's not going to be able to get that guy. So he goes out anyway to get his phone. And of course, he gets his brains blown out. The phone gets shot, and then he gets his brains blown out. The shooter calls out to her on the radio, calls her out for what happened to this guy. He says, what kind of person does that? Then again, what kind of person does what I'm doing? We've both got a lot to think about. Our actions, who we've become. She tells him she works for a pharmaceutical company. He says, don't you think somebody might want you dead for that? For promoting drugs that kill people? He mentions Bill Gates and his campaign against anti-vaxxers. There's a lot of that, a lot of buzzwords, a lot of the talking points are being mentioned throughout this. He reveals he knows that she works for a company that sounds like Pfizer, but it's not Pfizer. Of course, they sure as shit we're not going to say Pfizer in this movie.
But they said something to make you think Pfizer.
Yeah,
it was something real close.
If they said Pfizer, everyone in this movie would be bankrupt within 30 minutes.
Right.
The caterers would have lost their homes. She's the VP of marketing after only 2 years working there. He asks, what did you have to do to get the job after only 2 years? He implies maybe she slept her way to the top. Maybe she Me Too'd somebody or got somebody canceled for something they said when they were 8 years ago. He mentions all these things that have happened recently. It's topical again. He asks, you think any of those guys might want you dead? Someone has to pay. She sets up umbrellas to hide. It's not exactly clear what he can see and what he can't see. That's one little issue I had with it. So she sets up these umbrellas to hide. Alice, what did you do? Tells her to confess and just starts shooting wildly all over the place. He's obviously trying to get her to admit all the negative things that she's done. Obviously, cheated on my husband. I did this. I did that. And it's just it's not working.
Repent your sins.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he could have killed her about 8 million times in this movie, but he chooses not to. He's like playing with her because he wants her to admit what she's doing, what she's done, all that kind of stuff.
What he calls her part in this.
Right. So it's like it's not as simple as him just wanting to kill her. He wants her to.
And I thought it was interesting what you just said there about how, whenever he says, what a bad person she is, and he says, but of course, what kind of person does what I'm doing? Yeah. So most people in that situation are so fucking far gone, they don't even realize what they're doing is wrong. They're righteous. Yeah. And he seems to just fuck it. He knows what he's doing is wrong, but he don't give a shit. He's done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's coming more towards the point, but the killer, and I believe I know the director believes they're both monsters. Yeah. It's monsters fighting. It's a Godzilla. It's Godzilla versus the Megalodon or whatever. They're both monsters.
And that plays right into the nutshell what you were saying of this is not a woke move because it's not glorifying either fucking side. Yeah. You got a person opinionated on either side, whatever, but both of them are fucking monsters.
Yeah. So he's implying to her that how do you become the VP of marketing after only 2 years at the company? What is she, 25? You know what I mean? Yeah. What were her qualifications really to get that job? She's clearly somebody that would do anything to get what she wants. She's clearly a sociopath. She may not have killed people, pulled triggers, but she destroyed. There's a lot of people that got destroyed in her wake. That's kind of what you're getting from this.
Yeah.
Tony, what's going on, man? This movie's right up your alley.
Hey, Tony.
Chubbs. What's going on, dude?
Chubbs?
We're saying hey to Tony. Chubbs, great stream yesterday, Anthony.
Oh, thanks.
I didn't even know you streamed yesterday.
Yeah, I streamed over on Gizmo's channel.
Russell, I don't know what you're talking about. Benicio, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Benicio? The motherfucking whore cholo.
There it is. The man.
My A1 since day one. Yeah, dude, my beige brother. Benicio has been busy. Got a lot of stuff going on. He'll be back. So he's feeling up to it. It's a hobby. It's just for fun.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
We're just saying what's up. Hollow Note's based on how he obliterated the 2 bags of chips. I feel like he can see a lot. Yeah. There at some points. Yeah, I think Anthony may touched on it a little bit more. That I think he is delaying it, because he wants to continue this. And it's very personal between these two.
Yeah, because he could have killed her so many different times in this movie if he really wanted to, But he's clearly got it out for her.
Well, he tells her a few times, you can either talk to me or I can come down there.
Yeah.
You can either talk to me, you can go outside, or I can come down there. Which is it going to be?
Yeah. And it's not just a random act of violence because he knows enough about her and where she's coming from and what she's done. Like he's got enough of an idea to where he's done some research for sure. This isn't random. That's for sure. He definitely selected her.
Hole in the gas tank. He had it all pre-planned. Yeah. Make sure she ended up right there.
He's had this plotted out, for a while.
Well, when there's multiple different scenarios on who he is and what his motivations are. Right. He lays out multiple scenarios and, he says, listen, I lost my daughter because I didn't have a job anymore. I didn't have health care. And he says some other shit like, well, your husband hired me. Yeah. It's like, he's like, he lists off about 15 different things. I don't know how many it is, but he's like, don't you think any one of these people could want you dead? Again, letting the audience know that she's, if you got enemies that want you dead, you're probably not a good person.
It kind of reminds me of when the Joker from The Dark Knight is like, how I got these scars? And he just keeps making up stories, different scenarios of how he got these scars. Yeah. That's what he's doing, they're all like, and it's true. It's like any one of those are all great reasons for why somebody would want her dead. And he's just listing them off one after another. And it's like, those are all pretty reasonable,
Yeah. But that's actually a brilliant device. We'll go into that later. the way they do that. Run through the chat here. All Wrangler saying what's up to Benicio. He will be back. All right. So he says, you don't get to hijack this country, hide behind your lies, fake news, force mandates. He says, I'm not doing anything you haven't done for years. She says, I never killed anyone. He says, yes, you have. That's the whole point. We both killed to protect our interests. She says, we're nothing alike. He says, of course, you're woke and I'm a psychopath. How convenient. Again, we're both psychopaths. We're both doing the horrible things to get what we want. He continues, when I was sent to Afghanistan to kill for you, again, it's confirmed earlier that he was in the military with the dog tags watching the room. My friends died for you thousands of miles away. It was okay then. But now that you have to face responsibility for your choices you have made, it's so much easier for you to just label me a psycho than for you to face reality. Until you recognize your part in all of this, you'll never understand why people like me exist. She tries to calm the shooter. She tells him she's trying to have a baby, which it's clear she's being disingenuous. He sees right through her. He says, you put yourself above everyone else, and implies she even had abortions along the way for the sake of her career. And it all rings true to me. You know, the shit earlier with the magazine, the way she treats her husband, the way she treated her boyfriend. You know, she don't give a shit about anybody but herself. The way she treated the guy that was trying to help her. Yeah, go out there, get your brains fucking, get your forehead split open. You know, just at the off chance that you might bring the phone back. She says she has always had to answer after all that back and forth. She seems to break down and start to kind of tell a little bit of the truth here. She says she has always had to answer to men her whole life. It was about pleasing men. She again tries to condescend to him a little bit about marriage and children. You know, how she was supposed to get married. She's supposed to have children. She says she's having she's not having an affair for any reason other than she's in pain. And the shooter says, it's sad that it takes two people at the end of a gun to finally have a real conversation. So I believe that part is, you know, that part of the conversation, she's being truthful, that she's had always had issues with men, and it's been building to this. And you're getting the backstory, how she became this way, a hardcore feminist, libtard. It didn't happen overnight is kind of the point. You know, year after year, and she's become this unrecognizable version of herself. The lead slips outside of the car, outside, and goes for the car. She takes cover at the back of the car. Now, I don't know if you guys pointed this out. When I'm looking at the back of the car, it's a California license plate.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. It says Black Lives Matter.
It's a hybrid,
and it's a hybrid.
It's a hybrid. And there's a huge Black Lives Matter bumper sticker on it. I'm just going little too on the nose, but it's a nice touch.
Let me pause you right there for a second, Brad. Just for a second. First off, what a dumb bitch at this point. First off, he's done shot the fucking car to kill the battery, to kill the alarm. Why is she even going for the fucking car? You know, I mean, that's the dumbest fucking move ever.
It's a hybrid. It's electric and it runs on gas, so it may not even need the battery to start. It may just, you know, it probably has multiple. I don't know about all this newfangled shit. But all I know, she's smarter than you. She's smarter than me. She's smarter than everybody. You just ask this bitch. She'll tell you.
At this point, if you could run to the car, run behind the fucking gas station.
That's what I was saying.
There's no way this motherfucker can reach you. They hit the woods. Hit the fucking mountains.
Get in the woods. Know? Yeah. Because all there's just like a fence right there. Like like behind the store, you see like that fence kind of thing or whatever. It's like you can just go right through there, through the woods, and then you're gone. He's not going to be able to see you from there anymore. And then he's just on foot looking for you, and that's
can't be bothered to do all that walking.
Yeah,
the car is where it's at. Her CDs were in there.
So this is the one part I'm talking to the fucking camera like an old man. Talking to the movie like an old man. You dumb bitch. Just fucking go behind the gas station. God damn. This is my conversation with myself.
But she's blaming men for everything, all of her problems, and it's like, but then, you know, she's treating the guy that she's with, her husband, like absolute shit. You know what I mean?
Like a dog,
a complete dog. And it's like, well, if you got a problem with it, why don't you just break up with them? Like, there's an idea. Why even string them along? Why do you got to do that kind of shit? So it's like, you're just as bad as any of these other guys you're talking about. You're worse because look at how you're treating these guys. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. She does not eat one thing her entire time in that gas station. She doesn't even so much as grab an Uncrustable. Yeah, she doesn't even grab an Uncrustable. She's trying to keep the diet going.
Yeah.
She's trying to keep it tight. The shooter opens fire as she runs back into the store after she can't get the car to work, obviously, because it's been shot up, as Alan pointed out. She catches one right in the leg, right in the thigh. She lays on the ground, eye to eye with a cockroach that runs away.
Yeah.
And passes out. Again, even the cockroach, it's a message, cockroaches are known for surviving. They'll do anything to survive. She's a piece of shit. They're pieces of shit. I could go on and on, but she gets really wounded this time. This is not just a grazing shot. This is right through her thigh. She's fucked up. This is serious. And she passes out. She wakes up to the shooter's voice. It's becoming unbearable, the pain that leads to anger, that leads to violence. Don't you feel the paradigm shift in this country towards selfishness and brute force? Why is it easier for a kid to get an AR-15 than a six-pack of beer? Do you think that all the mass killers feel guilt? Should they? Do you feel guilt for all the people that you've harmed, or who's worse? Who's done more damage at this point? All good questions. Just because your finger is on the trigger doesn't make you any less of a killer. You don't care about people. Money is all that. Money in your career is all you care about. And so, money and your career is all you care about. So you can be free. Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Again, I think people felt it was preachy, but you're going to have to preach a little bit to compare a guy that's killing somebody with a gun to get to a comparison between a guy that's killing somebody with a gun and somebody who's trying to survive, to get them on the same level. And it's going to take some exposition there. But I don't think people even bothered to get that far into it. They took it even below surface level. Let's run through the chat here. Guys are talking about Hammer Films. Wild Wrangler, these two need therapy with Art the Clown. This is their therapy.
Yeah.
The lead gets a saw blade. I love this part, by the way. The lead gets a saw blade and tries to cut the padlock. There's a padlock at the back of the store, like where the management only, that kind of thing. And there's a padlock on it, and it leads to a garage. Like, gas stations used to have little service centers and little like things where you could get an oil change and stuff like that. The padlock is on a door that leads to the back to that. And she's trying to saw the lock off, and she cuts the shit out of her hand, like almost immediately.
I laughed at that too. I'm like, come on, Jesus Christ. You know what she could have tried too? Is she could have tried the hammer that she was going to use on that poor bastard that she sent to get his head blown off. She could have used the hammer to try to hammer at the padlock first before, slicing her hand up and shit. I mean, Jesus, God Almighty.
Now she's mad. now she's furious. She's really mad now.
Well, she's already tried to hit the thing with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah,
but I guess being shot in the arm, she had no strength, or she,
yeah.
Maybe she needed the man around to do it.
Yeah. Oh. Bitch, you should have thought about that before you got your boyfriend's brain splattered.
Everybody was a dumbass.
He'd kick that door right down. Alan, I'm trying to have a YouTube channel tomorrow. Let's not go there. Anyway, she's mad now, and she grabs the radio and she says, "You piece of shit. It's going to take a lot more than killing me to solve all your problems." He says it'll make the next person spreading filth and lies think about the consequences. Maybe they'll decide to be a human being instead. The lead says, "It's been a really shitty couple years. I get it. all the conspiracies. He cuts her off and says, "I knew you'd use that word, conspiracy. It's just a word used to discredit anyone who questions the media narrative." An older couple shows up on a road trip. Both are shot almost immediately. The man tries to crawl to his dead wife as he's dying and gets hit in the head. It's shot right in the head and stopped right away.
Yeah.
The shooter says, "See, we're both alike. You wouldn't go out there to try and save those people because you're a survivor and you'll pass that gene down to your baby if you ever do get pregnant." The lead says, "That's exactly why I won't have children. I don't want." This is a part where I really think people could have pointed to it being woke, but I think this just hammers down exactly who she is. The lead says, "That's exactly why I won't have children. I don't want them to have to live in fear every time they leave the house. I don't want them to be bullied, feeling unloved or alone, depressed and bitter. I don't want them to end up a coward shooting people, hiding in the dark." She heads to the front door. She's walking now upright. She's not hiding anymore. "But most of all, I won't have children because it's my fucking choice," and yells it at the sign.
Yep.
Standing in clear view of the Jesus sign, the God is now here sign. Well, we figure out why he didn't shoot. Was he toying with her, or was he preoccupied with the car, with the little girl that you now see in the car? I think his sights were on the little girl, but either way it works. I think he may have been just like, "Well, I'm not done with you yet," kind of thing. So she sees a little girl in the car, the old couple's car that was shot, clearly like their granddaughter. The lead tells the shooter that he'll be captured or killed or kill himself and just be another statistics. He says, "Nothing will change because I only exist in your mind. Your labeling and blind obedience to the media characterizations is all I'll ever be to you." So, the typical talking points. It's a right-wing nut bag, whatever, he says that's all I'll ever be to you. So it really doesn't matter. He said, all I ever wanted was to be left alone. He elaborates, saying, we're all the same alt-right conspiracy theory, QAnon, racist, sexist pigs, that'll be the story no matter what. And where he sees, he explains that he sees her as the villain, who's the definition of, a hypocritical, libtard, sheep type person. So he kind of explains his position more. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but he explains his position like, you're also responsible for this, for, everything I've said here. Like I said, it's a long narrative, and I got a lot to say when this thing is over. So the little girl runs into the store while the lead again tries to saw the lock open. The shooter heads down after her into the store. They had briefly talked about maybe an exchange, like, if you let her go, I'll come out so you can shoot me. And they kind of argue back and forth. He's like, I can't trust anything you say. You're a liar, or you're a whore, you're all this stuff. And she says, I swear, just let her go and I'll come running out. So they try to do it, and the little girl runs into the store instead, which I thought was kind of muddies the water a little bit. I thought they could have handled that a little bit better and made it a little more poignant, but the kid just runs into the store instead of listening and runs down.
Well, yeah, they make it a point to show the little girl like looking off into the darkness, and I just got scared because kids are pretty much terrified of the dark at that age, and everything. So she's looking into the darkness, and then she looks back over and she's like, I'm just gonna run to her instead because it's too dark,
Yeah.
By the end of it, it's morning, so I think she feels safer,
Yeah.
running away for help.
Right.
I'm sure there's a message or a cue there. Somehow we missed it, but there's so much fucking messaging in this.
There's a lot.
I'm going like, okay, I'm just going to take that. It's the little kid. The same thing. I thought basically the same thing, that she was afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
Little girl runs in the store. The lead hides the girl in the back of the garage. She was able to saw through the lock. The shooter's coming after them. She hides the girl in the back garage. She tells her to sing a song quietly if she gets scared. All right. So we're caught up with the chat here. Chris C says the sniper seems to talk like this. I didn't even look into who the character was that plays the actor who plays the shooter, but it kind of reminded me of that skinny guy that Denis Villeneuve uses you know, and every one of his movies. But I'm not sure who it was. Obviously we know he stays masked the entire time, but good voice acting, kind of like a Rusty Nail type thing.
Yeah, no, he had a good voice for it for sure. It was good casting.
Joe Joker, Alan really goes off when it's not his channel. To see it unboxes with the same energy.
Yeah. Have you ever watched any of my streams? There's been a couple times that I've went off. Talk about Star Wars or call me a bitch on stream and see if I don't go off my channel. There's been a couple times. And when I'm doing a fucking unboxing video, I ain't got no reason to talk about a dirty whore when I'm holding the movie up. But if it ever comes up, Joe Joker, I'll go off my channel.
Unless it's Clint Eastwood's ex-wife.
Yeah. Right. There's been some times. Go back and look at some of my streams. I don't give a fuck if I'm just on his channel.
He knows I don't give a shit, but watch some of those unedited unboxings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We need all the footage, Alan. We need
pretty good.
the unrated cuts.
So the shooter comes in masked in tactical gear with a hooded sweatshirt on. He says, "You're still hiding? Who am I? Why am I here?" He says, "Am I a coworker you got fired so you could steal my job? I could just be somebody who's tired of how this country is going. Maybe this is just some random act of violence." He mentioned several things. Am I the guy that lost a daughter? Am I this? Am I that? The lead stabs the shooter through the side with a pry bar. It's like thick. It's like 3/4 inch thick pry bar.
She used it as like a spear.
Yeah, she puts it on the end of a jack handle and sticks it right through. I mean, right through his fucking side. Probably would have maimed him pretty bad. Well, definitely would have maimed him really bad. Keeps flashing back to the kid trying to sing, and she hears them fighting, and she's getting more and more scared. She hears them fight. The lead tries to rip the mask off. He says, "You should have left me the fuck alone." The gun goes off. The lead falls over dead. Alice, eyes wide open, just lifeless. From the POV of the kid hiding in the back room. The shooter opens the back garage door. The little girl is hiding. He goes over to the little girl and he takes the thing away from, so she's not hiding anymore. And he says, "You don't have to be scared anymore," and starts to take his mask off. There's a point to that. I feel like he was going to let her go. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think he was going to let her go? He opened the garage door. He says, "You don't have to be scared anymore." He starts to take the mask off. Do you think he was going to let the little girl go?
I think so, because one, he said that he had a daughter or whatever that died. And so I do believe he was going to let her go. Yeah. That's kind of the vibe I got from it. But they kind of left it open and you could go either way.
Yeah. I think, this is what I think. I think he feels like he was saving this little girl from her.
Yeah.
And maybe she would have adopted her. He just doesn't like this way. He hates this woman so much. He feels like he was saving her, the kid, from her. But maybe that's true, maybe that's not true. Only the director knows. But while he's trying to take his mask off, the lead hits the shooter over the head with a fire extinguisher repeatedly. I mean, she's battering him with this thing. If anything, with combat sports right around, you get hit with a few unanswered shots. You ever watch the UFC, the people go limp like that? Like, you can tell he's about to get knocked out. She's fucking him up with this fire extinguisher. He falls under a car lift, under the edge of a car lift. She turns on the hydraulics and it's lowering the car lift. She tries to rip his mask off as the lift is coming down on his head. He fights her hands. He won't let her take the mask off. In the mix there, the lift comes down while they're fighting and crushes his head. Great shot. Really good shot of it. Mm-hmm. It really looks like somebody's fucking head's getting crushed in that thing. This director's got, if you go back through his other movies, he's really good with the gore. He really knows what he wants, and he does a great job with this. The lead rolls off the shooter and dies right there on the spot laying next to him. The little girl runs away. He runs outside and runs away. And that's the end of the movie. That's just face value. Nothing. There's nothing there.
Yeah, I can't wait as the little girl's running down the road. I can't wait for a car to come around the corner. Anything, but she just runs. My credits are rolling. She just keeps running pretty much out of frame.
Yeah.
So you keep wondering, is this girl going to be And I guess my anxiety was kicking in because the movie is pretty anxiety driven.
Yeah.
I can't wait for a fucking car to come 80 miles an hour around the corner. Splatter the little girl, go black.
The sunrise is happening. There's a beautiful sunrise happening. She's running. She's free of these nasty people.
Right.
And she can be, I think that's kind of what it was. But let's get through the chat and we'll go into what's going on here. Wild Wrangler, Pops love Star Wars and Jaws. Yeah. Water is wet in other news. All notes, release the unrated cuts. Yeah. Chris, he's talking about the Jaws film vault unboxing. Yeah, he wasn't happy with that. I'll tell you can watch a good one, the Ghostbusters unboxing. That's a great one. Well, we're going to get into that. Mask, the shooter is never unmasked. We get no confirmation on identity or motive or anything. It's all
because I also think that they somewhat made him look like her husband that you do see for a brief moment when they're FaceTiming, and I think they kind of made him possibly look a little bit because they wanted to put that in your head. But
I don't think it was. She'd have recognized the voice.
Yeah,
as long as they fucking talk, she'd have recognized the voice. It wasn't the husband. I don't.
And when he comes in, he's not using a voice changer or anything. It's the same guy.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think
he mentioned.
I never got that vibe. So.
He mentions, was I hired by your husband? Did your husband hire me? Yeah. And but he lists, a bunch of different possibilities. He's like, listen, isn't it strange to you that all these people might want you dead? Doesn't that tell you more about you than them?
Yeah.
But no, I don't think it was the husband either. I thought they kind of made it a point to do that just to mess with your head a little bit more too, or people's heads if they're watching. But yeah, obviously the voice would be.
It could have just been, the lone nut theory, whatever. But we'll get into that. Hall notes. I was waiting for the car, but then I saw produced by Aja. Yeah, he's got his dirty fingers in so many good movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's got if he's involved, it's probably going to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. The Hills have
what?
The Hills Have Eyes remake.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
guys. I just see it online here that this movie is actually. I'm taking for a grain of salt. This is off IMDb. But they say this is a remake of a Spanish film called Night of the Rat from 2015.
I saw that too. Yeah,
I didn't see that.
So
I'm sure
the plot of that movie sounds somewhat similar.
Yeah.
So I may give that a shot to see what it's all about.
I'm sure the politics and stuff are different though, because you said that was 2015, right? So it's
a Spanish film, so I'm sure the politics are probably not there.
Right.
But, yeah.
It's a very, very American film.
Yeah.
So we'll go around here. I want to go around and get all both your inputs on a few points here. But the first one here, why was the shooter after her? Who was the shooter? Why was he after her? Alan, what do you think?
I personally think that it was somebody that knew them somewhat. Like I said, it may be a friend of the husband or somebody that knew about them through the husband. And he knew that she was cheating. He's seen her cheating or something. And so he kind of got targeted on her based on the job that she had, the shit she was doing, what a shitty person she was. And I think that she kind of targeted her for his little scheme, whatever, to make his point across. He had a captured audience, got her where he wanted her, and he had a chance to say everything he wanted to say to a real shitty person he knew was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I think he was targeting his revenge basically on her because he knew what a piece of fucking dirty horse she was. But so that's my opinion. I think he was familiar with her, whether it was through the husband or just, whatever. I think that he was familiar with her long before this incident happened. It wasn't just a random act of violence. Wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. I think it was pre-planned.
What do you think, Anthony? Why was the shooter after her?
I think it was definitely pre-planned, just because there's so much stuff that went into this to make it, and it's definitely, it feels very personal, like he knows her. He knows a lot about her for it to. I don't think it could have been just.
Specifically, do you think it's?
But I think
the adultery or the pharmaceutical job or.
I think it's I think maybe because he says it's one of the last things that he lists off. I think it may have been the last thing that he lists off. That is he someone that lost a kid? to this because she's got her hands all in the the pharmacy, the pharmaceutical
vaccine.
industry.
He was wounded by the vaccine. The kid took the vaccine and died.
It could be that, or it could be maybe he couldn't get his hands on a drug because he didn't have health insurance or whatever, and like he blames her, or something to where I think maybe he lost a child and it affected him in a big way, and then he found her and wanted to make her suffer for it. And then that also kind of goes back to the point of like towards the end of the movie where he's about to reveal him his face to that little girl, and he's like it's okay now, and everything, it's all gonna be all right. I was thinking like that kind of goes to my point again, where maybe he lost a child and now he looks at this little girl as like maybe it's a girl that he can take care of potentially. Maybe he was going to reveal his face and then be like, come with me, I'll take care of you, because obviously her grandparents are dead now, so it's like maybe he was going to take her with him. So I thought there were some things kind of pointing to that, but that's where what
the point you made there. And in the chat, what do you guys think? Why is the shooter after her? Put it in the chat here. So the point you make there? So when he pulls the mask off, he starts to pull the mask off. You don't have to be afraid anymore. So it's kind of like Anthony nailed it to me. That part of it, it's like whoever survives this is probably going to end up raising this kid. So if she kills him, she says she wants a kid. Their parents, it's a natural fit. They've been through this tragedy together, whatever. And if he survives, maybe, because he mentioned before, he may have lost a daughter,
right.
So Winter may end up raising this kid. So he literally thinks he's saving the kid from this horrible woman. You don't want to end up like this bitch.
I think the shooter will be a better parent because I think that she would keep her for about 2 weeks and then drop her off at the fire station. So that's what I think. So, because like I said, she's gonna be too busy out sucking dick in order to take care of that kid.
She's fully Casey Anthony with that kid. Just like, God, I used to have a life before I had this fucking kid.
Right.
Zip tying that kid and throw it in the lake.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I do. I think he was gonna take that kid to raise her or whatever, like because he lost a child for sure. That's really what I was getting from that.
My thinking on it, basically I think everyone's right. Whatever you think the reason is, whether it's the adultery, the pharmaceutical thing, the climbing the corporate ladder, the cucking her husband, is it the husband? Is it this guy? Is it that guy? The numerous ones, whatever way you think about it, that tells you about yourself. So, if you think it's the husband involved, it probably says, well, you've been cheated on. And that's the story you're attached to. If you lost a business or, to the COVID mandates, something like that, you're going to, well, she's an evil pharmaceutical, rep and this and that. If your kid died from the vaccine, you know what I mean? Like you're going to gravitate to whichever scenario kind of fits your personal narrative. And I love that about this movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's a brilliant way to do it as the killer is naming off all these scenarios where, I lost a daughter, I couldn't get medical care for, like all that stuff, whichever story you gravitate towards, like I said, it fits your own personal narrative a little bit. And I really like that the bit,
that's a good way to look at it, actually, is like whatever story, it could line up in a lot of different ways, a lot of different scenarios. So
if you think he's
bad,
just
maybe personal bias to it when you
it makes this personalize the story for you. If you think he's a right-wing psychopath, well, maybe you're a left-wing libtard, and maybe if that's all you heard. Did you hear her side of the deal, or all you heard was the right-wing stuff? You didn't. Did you think she's just an innocent victim in this?
I think that's why there's so many people that thought this movie was woke, whatever. Because if somebody is, like you said earlier, if they are extreme left or extreme right, they're so locked in just that alone, that mindset. They're going to go into this movie and everything that is said from the other side of this, they're only going to focus on that in a negative tone, and they're going to look at this as the movie just talking shit about their side.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's what I think. But like I said, if you go into it with just watching a fucking movie and you're not a fucking idiot, I feel like that. You're just going to watch this as the movie is what it is, and they don't beat you to death with either side. Both sides are fucked up. They're both representing their side as a fucked up person, and they both get fucked at the end. They don't glorify either
They
side.
both die. That's the
Right.
thing to remember.
Nobody
both
prevails,
die.
you know.
And
except for the innocent girl who don't give a fuck either way.
The innocent girl who's free from both of them, you know.
Right.
But I this woke derangement syndrome that I've heard, Richard Trump derangement syndrome. I mentioned it on the last stream. Woke derangement syndrome. Not everything is woke just because you heard buzzwords and immediately you just you clutch your pearls and go, no, not another woke movie. That's not what this is. You have to watch it. This is a seasoned director. He has no history of this no history of wokeness or anything like that, and it's not in this. This is not what that is, and that's what really spurred this WTF on, was how irritating these reviews were about this movie. But there is obviously messaging too.
And keep your eye on this director. They got 5 projects. He has 5 projects coming up. And I don't know much about them, but I'm sure I'm gonna definitely keep my eye on the director because I enjoy the hell out of this.
He's made multiple movies, some good, some bad. But like I said, on the strength of this P2, the Maniac remake, he's a really solid director in my opinion.
But I'll tell you what he's great with are these very unique, diverse killers.
Yeah,
the Maniac remake, P2, this film. All the killers in all those movies are very unique. They have their own personalities. They're very well fleshed out. Like he's good at that kind of stuff.
They're very well drawn.
Yeah.
And they have, listen, it's wrong to murder somebody. I don't care what your reasoning is.
Right.
It's wrong to do it. But he explains these characters and why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah. You go back to the P2 movie, and this dude is a fucking incel. He is the P2, the movie P2. He's an incel. He's alone all the time. He makes shit money. He has a grating personality. He can't get. He wants somebody to be with him, and he snaps. And Maniac similar. And this character has his reasons, and right, wrong, or indifferent. He does a really good job of explaining the reasoning behind these actions.
Yeah, and just because you explain the reasoning doesn't justify the actions.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going. Yeah, I support his decision.
Right. He's just very good at drawing out these characters and making you understand why they're doing it. It doesn't make it right, but he's good at, giving their side why they think the way they think. And I think it takes a very talented director and writers and stuff to make that happen. You don't get a lot of scripts like that anymore. Nowadays the movie would be one-sided, but this is very right down the middle, all the way through.
Yeah. There's 4 movies coming by this director that they're directing. It's a movie called Hope, First Person Shooter, Motherload, and Entry Level. And I think it was Entry Level is the only one that really says what the plot is. The other ones really don't say much about it. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to watch more about this guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for sure.
Catch up with the chat here, and we'll get into what this movie's about and eventually rank it. We'll probably rank it next and then ask the chat what they think it's about and then go through what we think it's about. Holland says, yeah, watched a few minutes of Night of the Rat. It's on Tubi. Okay. Jamie says this movie sounds insane. I hope you can come in and get it spoiled. But what's up, Jamie?
Go check it out, Jamie, because even with that, it's still worth the watch. It really is.
You like P2, The Hunt, Phone Booth.
Yeah, the tension level is definitely there throughout the movie, so it's done really well.
Hollow Notes, yeah, it's like an episode of Cheaters exposing them whores. Okay, whores. Chris C, is this cohabitation horror, Brad? It sounds like no, it's more like a bottle type horror, like
isolated, one location,
phone booth type thing.
And Brad, I loved how you just sat there and all you could think about was all this food in here. She didn't eat a fucking Uncrustable or anything.
You didn't even touch it.
I kind of thought the same thing. So watching it like a fat guy, I like it.
Yeah. And they make it a point to show you all the food that's in there too. There's candy, there's stuff you can heat up, there's like food all over the damn place,
Yeah.
If I'm going out, I'm gonna grab a Snicker bar on the way out.
Yeah.
So.
I'd have been like Cobretti in Cobra. He just reaches up and pulls down a tall boy.
If I'm gonna die, I might as well.
Eat it. Chris Season is, I think it's like an avenging angel type person. Does this for free? Goes on to the next. Yeah, that's an interesting con, like a Dexter,
Sure. Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
That's what the guy in Phone Booth was doing as well. Same
Yeah.
thing. Colin Farrell wasn't his first target. He had done it a bunch more times. You hear him talk about that, like you see in the newspapers and all that stuff. Like he's done it before, so it's not his first time. So yeah, that's a good point, Chris.
He mentions in the movie, her career. Maybe her, because these companies report. We got a new VP of marketing, and it's so and so, and he might have seen that and went, that looks like a 20-year-old woman. How is she a VP of marketing? And that might have started. Maybe
he starts his research and starts targeting her, and
he starts to get to know her, and suddenly he has all the facts about her. Hall notes. I just took it like Saul. He's teaching her a lesson. Wild Wrangler says he lost his kid. Very likely.
Yeah.
Chrissy, Karma's a bitch. Joe Joker, I think it's the Illuminati.
Oh.
Of course. Hall notes, so it's like a choose your own adventure type movie. Yeah, awesome. That's what I take from it. I think everyone's right. If you think it's like Chris C said, a Avenging Angel, a Dexter type guy, if you think it's this, if you think it's that, Joe Joker, I'm getting buzzed. No shit.
Scotty's like right now.
Yeah, he's already lit. Christy says modern villains have to be conflicted all the time, it seems. Yeah. All notes, yeah, it's not that kind of movie, Anthony. I don't remember what point you're making. Wild Wrangler director wanted to make just a movie. Yeah, could be. Jamie Hart. I'm looking forward to watching this. I imagine I have quite a bit to say about it. It is on Shudder if you want to check it out for free. All notes, yeah, product placement on 10. Yep, I love the colors. It really, it's vibrant. It's really well done. Jamie, I'm okay with the spoilers. Listen to Brad tell the plot was enthralling. It just made me even more interested. Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's kind of like a book on tape.
It's the worst book on tape ever with the most illiterate motherfucker on planet Earth. I wrote it. And I fuck it up. All those, yeah, Brad, I agree with you. It's a thought exercise. I think that's it. That's what it is. All right, so let's rate this thing. While we're rating it, in the chat, guys, what is this movie about? What's the message here, the overall message? But we're gonna go ahead and rank this thing out of 10. Alan, what would you give this movie?
Like I said, I won't say it the one time, but I think right now where I stand, I'm probably gonna go 7 out of 10. So I'll probably go 7 out of 10.
Would you be picking this physical media up if it gets one?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. If we get a physical media release, it'll be picked up for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to hear the director's thoughts and get a little more flushed out. What he was going for here.
Dude, I pray that this gets a director's commentary or something.
Yeah, that would be nice to see.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, out of 10, what would you give this?
I'm the same. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Very solid, and I think you get more out of it with each subsequent viewing too. So that's a good thing with the movie.
Yeah, you come up with your own kind of narrative a little bit and figure out what the killer's motive is. But the killer also says multiple times, "I wish you would have just left me the fuck alone."
Right, which also indicates it's more personal too.
Yeah. So maybe the coworker, cost me a job, sucked somebody's dick and got the job over me, even though you weren't qualified or, whatever. And I didn't get the health insurance because a lot of times, and I guess maybe people do know this, but a lot of times you're waiting for a promotion to get a better insurance package, to get, this and that. And, if you cost somebody a promotion or cost them their job, they're going back to square one. The healthcare is not the same. Everything's different. Everything changes. So maybe she cost him a job and her kid had to wait. He mentions it. My kid had to wait at a public health center and we waited for hours, and she died before she could get treatment.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. So
I think he really was. That's why I think he was kind of he's giving you a lot of different avenues, but I think he was telling his own story in there.
Well, she's such a dirty whore. There's so many things that could have been.
Yeah.
It ain't just one thing. Pick your poison.
He says that. Again, I've mentioned it before. He does say that. It's like all these people could want you dead. If all these people want you dead, possibly, what does that say about you? It says more about you than them.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it, I don't know, 6.6 out of 10. I think it's a solid movie.
I gave it a 3.5 on Letterboxd. That's about a 7 in it.
Yeah, I think I gave it about the same on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
But let's see what the chat thinks the movie's about, and we'll go through our thoughts on what this movie's about. And fucking. Thought exercise, talked about that. Chris C, it's on Shudder, RLG, probably get that physical. Yeah, Steelbook, something. Hall Notes, I saw there were some interviews from the director on YouTube. Okay, didn't watch any of this. I'll definitely check that out. I was too busy watching fucking reviews of this movie, and it just, God, they suck.
More and more heated.
Yeah. I really was.
No, I was doing the same. I was reading a lot of reviews like online and stuff just to see where people, because after I watched it the second time, I was even more curious. So I wanted to go. I went online. I just started reading more and more reviews, and there were some smart people out there that like understood it. I think more that actually like watched it, paid attention. I was like, okay, these reviews make more sense. But on YouTube, it seems like if you're looking at those reviews on YouTube, you know, they think it's like either woke or this or that, you know, I don't know.
Or it's disgusting. You know, we shouldn't even cover this subject matter and,
you
know, whatever.
They think it's one side or the other. They're like,
well, this is the thing. The director don't really, I mean, the director stays right in the middle so much that both the fucking sides die. And then I can see if the girl would have lived, you know, whatever, then maybe, you know, people from the other side would have said, well, you know, but both people died. It didn't glorify either side. It was just a fucking good movie. That shit has to be in there, but it's not. They don't beat you to death with it. I don't know. I don't get it.
And both characters suffer too. She gets shot multiple times. She gets the shit kicked out of her. He gets stabbed and slashed, and then he gets his head crushed. So they both suffer too, you know, throughout this film.
So, Alan, what do you think this movie is about?
Well, I think we pretty much covered it. I think it's best about a dirty whore. And you have a guy at the end of his fucking rope, whatever. He basically targets her. And the entire movie is a way to maybe get both sides point out there a little bit without beating you to death over it. And it shows that no matter what side you're on, whatever, there's still pieces of shit on both sides. And nobody's necessarily right. And at the very end, you know, if you're that fucking extreme, whenever you're going to fucking die. Yeah, in a nutshell. I mean, that's basically what it is. It's basically, I think it's kind of getting the point across without really beating you to death with it. It's a good story. It's a tension builder. You know, there's a lot of parts of the movie that, you know, the tension's up to fucking 10. You know, and I'm sitting there just going, fuck. You know, and I like when a movie pulls me in like that. And even though the movie really got me invested like that, and I'm not a very political guy at all, I don't give a fuck. I'm kind of right in the middle. You know, I feel that this movie, it didn't take me out of the movie with the shit they were talking about. Like you said, there's a lot of buzzwords. Yeah. None of those buzzwords pissed me off. I didn't roll my fucking eyes one time. You know, I felt like it was done in a way where you can watch this movie no matter what side you're on, and you should just watch the movie for the movie itself and not looking at it as, you know, propaganda or whatever. You know, so I feel like the movie basically was just this guy, whatever, basically had a lot of problems, targeted on this lady because she was a piece of shit, and he had a way to make her a captive audience, to listen to everything he had to say. You know, so like that's pretty much what I got out of it. So
yeah, I mean, we're better off without both of these people.
Right.
Yeah,
you know, I think that's part of it. Anthony, what do you think this movie's about?
Yeah, and it's just that. It's right. It's showing both sides, but not favoring either one. Showing both, you know, sides, their reasoning for what they're doing, and making sure, even though it's giving reasons why they're both doing what they're doing, it's not justifying or glorifying why they're doing what they're doing, and that's an important distinction as well. Both of these people are shitty human beings, and that's another thing to note. He's going around killing innocent people. He killed that girl's poor grandparents. He killed that random guy. He killed his wife or girlfriend or whatever that worked at the station. Like, he's killing a lot of innocent good people just to prove a point to her, but it's like those people had nothing to do with what she was doing. So he's a piece of shit, but then she's a piece of shit too, just for going around sleeping with every guy under the sun, cheating on her husband. Who knows what she's doing as the VP at that pharmaceutical company as well. Who knows how many people she hurt there. Obviously, for me, I think she did affect this guy. I think she may have, cost him his daughter's life, in a way, in a roundabout way, medicine stuff, just how I interpreted it. But either way, I think it does a great job at showcasing both sides, but not taking any one side at all. And the fact that they both die at the end, I think, is a perfect.
And I will say the majority of the movie, I was rooting for the shooter, just not because he was a piece of shit, but
right.
I'm just saying this whole movie. There's one thing you have to remember: no matter what scene you're watching in the movie, this girl had dick on her breath the entire movie.
Yep.
She just left the hotel room. She's a dirty whore. You have a guy somewhere that's in love with her, trying to have a baby with her. She's blowing smoke up his ass. He's still got dick on her breath, and now she's got trouble. Shoot the bitch and let's move on.
There are no good men. There are no good men out there. What about the dude that you married to? He seemed like a good dude. The guy that wants to marry you, and the guy that married you and wants to give you a baby. It sounds like a real piece of shit. That guy. He wants to.
I kind of wish it was him up in the tower. When it's on the thing, whatever.
And it's a voice changer or something. I thought when the movie was going, I'm like, maybe he is using a voice changer or something.
Like Ghostface. Like Scream movies.
But then again, what does it matter? Like, why do the voice changer anymore? Once he reveals himself as the shooter, or maybe he wanted to explain. I don't know, but so I think the tagline is telling in this movie. The tagline is everyone is a target. We talked about this. It's about the state of the world, monsters on both sides, and it shows how it explains how they could be creative. It even goes into her backstory, where she's had problems with men her whole life, and she became a jaded, soulless this creature. And his backstory, all these things, maybe all those things are true. You know what I mean? Other than the husband, like maybe he did lose a daughter, maybe he did come back from the war, and all these things kind of chipped away at him until he became this creature. And they both think they're right. That's the important part. They both think that they're doing the right thing. The blood-covered sign from the beginning. God grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Neither one of them could, they're both arguing still. They're both arguing with each other. You're a lunatic. You're this. They can't leave each other alone. And that's both left and right. They both go on the opposition news channel to get talking points for the day. They take it to the water cooler and they fucking yell at each other in this echo chamber about these things. If they would just ignore each other, it'd be a lot different. I think it would be a lot different, but they can't do it. They have to have an opposition, both of them. These monsters on both sides exist. They didn't just magically exist. They were, I mentioned that before. They built the lead little by little becoming this disgusting creature, and unrecognizable in the shooter, same way. And there's blame on both sides again. We went over that a little bit. The little kid at the end, I thought that was an interesting thing, kind of her being left alone and kind of being saved from them. Like the kids, what kind of generation are these parents? What kind of raising? The autism's at an all-time high. The kids are being left to watch a fucking TV or a screen all the time. They don't know how to talk to people anymore. And it's going to create more and more of these type of characters. They're left to fend for themselves. All they think about is me. They're selfish. You're going to get more shooters. You're going to get more of this lead type of character that all that matters is me. And I think that's a part of it too. And again, remember the part where he says starts to take the mask off. He opened the garage door and he starts to take the mask off and says, "You don't have to be scared anymore. Like I'm here to save you." Like they both think that they're saving the girl from the other party, and I think both parties are fighting for the kids, the voters, so
future.
to speak. Yeah. So the obvious division is present here also. Two literal opposite ends of the spectrum of left and right. One is alt left, one is alt right. One thing I liked about this movie, another thing I liked about it, is racism is not mentioned whatsoever by either side. She doesn't call him a racist. None of that stuff happens. Thank God. That would have made it a little bit. It felt wokey to me. If anything, the alt left is synonymous with more of that than me. Hitler was alt left. Hitler was a left wing guy. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. But it's the hysterical alt left bootlickers versus the extreme right boogeyman, so to speak. They're squaring off in this, and I like that. Alan pointed that out earlier, where no side is. They both come off bad in this. It's not it's not. You make up your own judgment. I like that a lot. That in itself keeps it from being woke for me. Yeah, so that's basically what I took from it, and I think if you actually watched it, you could get something out of it. But I think maybe people were on their phone or whatever that did these reviews, like, oh my God, there's a new thing out, so I got to talk about it, so to speak. So let's see where we're at here in the chat. Joe Joker's feeling great right now. He's feeling no pain. Movie's a tragedy on both sides. I think we're the kid. I think we're the kid in the middle. Yeah. We listen to all this shit. Christy, it's a twisted love story. Joe Joker, as long as I can shoot my guns, smoke my weed, I'm not a political person. I know what part of the country you are from. That sounds about right. The libertarian type thing. Hollow Notes, Alan, just to make sure you're not on the side of the whore. You're not on the side of the whore, just to be sure.
Guaranteed.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
While Rangers is a good point, a villain never sees themselves as a villain. Yeah, this is a mass shooter. I hate that word. Mass killer is what I would prefer. I just want to point this out. This is the only political part I'll get into this. The characterization of the shooter being a right-wing nutbag, right-wing, the shooter as the lead. Here are the 5 most successful mass shootings in history. I would call them mass killing events, but you can call them mass shootings. Las Vegas, 58, Orlando, 49, Virginia, 32, Connecticut, 27, Texas, 26. That's the top 5. All registered Democrats. So the characterization that this guy may be right wing or whatever, I don't think that's what it is. I think he's got his teeth kicked in for so long. The straw broke the camel's back, and he decided to do this. And he happened to be an Army veteran. Whether he was a Democrat, Republican, had nothing to do with it.
Good point.
This may or may not be the last 5, depending if I have a channel tomorrow. But we have some other, to the last 5. WTF, there'll be more last 5s. Anthony, UK Tony is working on a stream this weekend he wants us to participate in. There'll be more stuff coming up. We'll see what happens. There'll be more WTFs. There'll be more everything. Anthony, what do you got coming up?
I might do a haul video and stuff. It's funny because I rarely do haul videos on my channel because I'm so used to all of us doing them together. So I'll usually save everything until I'm either on your channel, Brad, or Alan's channel. But I might go ahead and do one just because it's been a long time since I've done one just on my channel, and I've got some pretty cool stuff in recently. So, and I figure, I can show it again, on your guys' channel too.
Yeah.
Get different eyes on it, whatever. But yeah, I'll probably do that.
What about
I just
you,
realized my
Ron?
stack is so high you can actually see it on the camera.
Yeah.
And I got another stack beside it just like that.
Right. That's
So-
how you know it's time to do a haul video.
Yeah, it's definitely
Stack
overdue for
is
me.
just like getting up to where the camera's at.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got coming?
I don't have a haul coming up. Let's just go ahead and run out the chat and get out of here. Let's see where we are.
And we are working on another top 5. It's going to be a lot of fun. Whatever that should be coming up. I mean, it's going to be soon, within the next couple of weeks for sure. Probably sooner, but I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a good time. So we'll be announcing that soon.
This is the only shooter's credit on IMDb, so that's cool. So it's an actor we don't know. That's good. He did a good job.
Yeah, I'm looking
We
at
still
it
don't
right
know.
here.
Yeah.
It says sniper is Stasa Stanek, and there's no photograph of him or anything. So
When he comes in and his eyes all fucking tweaked out and bloodshot, and that's all
Yeah.
you see, I was like, Jesus, he's up on the caffeine, dude.
Yeah, Wild Wrangle. That movie is a I enjoyed it. It's very, very, very much of a slow burn. But like I said, it's definitely an interesting film. So check it out, man. Let me know what you think.
which one was that?
The Wind from 2018.
The Wind. Okay.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody coming, and we will catch you on the next thing, whatever it is.
Take care, everybody.
See you guys.